But your brain literally doesn't know the difference between what's real and something that's just repeated. So it believes what it hears the most. And this is why I always say you have to be super mindful of what you consume, super mindful of what you watch, what you listen to, right? All the things that you feed yourself. It's extremely important. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Mindful Vibes 365 podcast, where we have productive and stimulating conversations about how to be more mindful in all the areas of your life. I'm your host, Malaysia, and I'm super excited about today's conversation because y'all, I have been quite delusional lately, and not the reckless delusion, but productively delusional, y'all. Like when I tell you anything that I think of, if I want it, if I need that, I'm going to get that. I have been productively delusional lately, and I feel like we need to have a conversation about delusion and when being delusional is actually the best thing for you to do. Because let's be honest, being called delusional is not a compliment. When people tell you like, oh, you're being delusional, you need to stop. Okay, you need to start living in reality. Stop being delusional. Don't be delusional. That is not a compliment. But something that I have realized, especially lately in the past couple months in my life, is sometimes being a little delusional is the only way to create a new reality. I mean, the only way, especially when you are going after things that you've never gone after before. You've never seen other people around you, your family, your friends, achieve these things or obtain these things before. You have to have some delusion, because if you only believe what you can see, you're never going to experience what's possible. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about productive delusion, okay? Because you have to have this type of mindset that helps you to believe bigger, act bolder, and show up like the person you truly want to become, even before your circumstances match it, okay? So let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, I want to talk about what being productively delusional actually means, because you're probably like, Malaysia, what is that? I only know what delusional means. Maybe you don't even know the true definition of that. You're probably just thinking like, oh, that's just a person that's crazy. No, it's a real definition behind it. I want to get one thing straight, okay? I'm not talking about ignoring red flags and being reckless and living in a fantasy land type of delusion. That is reckless delusion. Productive delusion is when you choose to believe something before you can see it, and then your habits align, your energy and your actions line up to match that belief. So, for an example, if you say, I'm successful, even when your business is just starting. I have a 7-figure business. I'm building a multi-million-dollar business. That is productive delusion. You say, I am loved. I'm chosen. Even when you're healing from a heartbreak, you might be coming out of the nastiest, most gut-wrenching heartbreak ever. But if you affirm and say things to yourself like, oh, I'm loved, I'm chosen, I am worthy, right? You are feeding your brain the things that you actually need to be thinking if you really truly want to come out of that. Another example, I'm walking in my purpose. Even when you don't have all the details of your life figured out, right? You have to say the opposite. You have to train your brain and fool your brain into thinking you do have things under control, because you're not lying to yourself. You are training your brain to stop accepting mediocrity or your actual reality, which is right in front of your face, as the end all be all and the truth, because it's not. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all and share something that you probably didn't know. Your brain does not know how to tell the difference between something that's real and something that's fake, okay? Maybe you knew that, maybe you didn't know that. But your brain literally doesn't know the difference between what's real and something that's just repeated. So it believes what it hears the most. And this is why I always say you have to be super mindful of what you consume, super mindful of what you watch, what you listen to, right? All the things that you feed yourself. It's extremely important, because you are training your mind every single day. Your mind is like a computer. You're writing the code for your mind through the things that you consume. So therefore, if you're not feeding your brain with things that you want to believe, things that you actually truly want to happen and make come true in your life, what do you think is going to happen? Your brain is always going to go towards comfort, towards things that are familiar, right? Your brain does not like for you to experience fear or things that are uncomfortable or things that are going to make you scared and timid and all of these negative things, right? No, you have to control how you are programming your brain every single day, which is why you have to be so mindful of what you consume. Okay, you heard it here first. And just going a little bit deeper into why this actually works, your subconscious mind controls 95% of your daily habits, your thoughts, and your decisions, and is shaped by repetition, not logic. So this is exactly why affirmations and visualization and having faith is so powerful, because they literally rewire your brain to expect success instead of fearing failure. This is exactly why the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you think small, you're going to live small. You're going to get small results. You're going to take small action. If you think big and you believe big, you'll start to live in alignment with your beliefs. Your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions are all going to be big. They're all going to line up with the things that you want. And God is going to meet you there, okay? The smaller you think, the smaller you play. The bigger you think, the bigger you play, and everything is going to line up all together, right? So let's give some real life examples of healthy delusion. Okay, let's bring this down to earth. Here is what being delusional can look like in different areas of your life. In your career and in business, you might launch a business and you might not even have an audience yet. You don't have any customers. You don't have nothing, but you show up online every single day like people are watching. People who make content, everybody who you know, who you might follow and engage with that may have hundreds of thousands of followers or 1 million followers plus, right? They had to start somewhere. They had to show up. They had to get their reps in. They had to show them cooking their recipes if they're a chef or a nutritionist. They had to show that off before they even had a whole bunch of followers, right? Showing up and being delusional in a healthy manner, like, hey, I might not have the platform yet, but I have the plan. I have the right formula. So all I have to do is show up. You can create content with excellence and have that type of confidence to where people wouldn't even be able to tell if they didn't know you or they were meeting you out on the street. They wouldn't know if you had 1 follower or 1 million followers, okay? That is delusion. That's healthy, productive delusion. And it's how every successful creator started, every successful business owner. Think about Amazon, think about Walmart, Sam's Club, Tesla, all these different companies and businesses that we utilize and frequent on a daily basis. Like, somebody had to commit to having that vision. Like, hey, Amazon started off as a bookstore, but we want to take it to the next level. We want to beat out our competition of FedEx and UPS. We want to be better. Okay, we want to deliver stuff to people's doors in a matter of a day or two. Like, we want to be the best. And you have to have some level of delusion to make that happen. That doesn't just happen by chance. That is something that you have to be like, I'm doing this. It's going to be done. Even if you can't see all the details, that's how you have to be thinking. Relationships. You treat yourself like someone who is deeply loved and chosen long before you're in a relationship. You can romanticize your life before you get into a romantic relationship. You can think the world of yourself. You can truly love yourself oh so much to the point where it's like you're so happy and you're so content where love is just drawn to you. Okay, people are going to realize how much you love yourself, and you're going to eventually get that healthy relationship, that perfect partnership that you are wanting. But all of that starts with you first. You will literally stop chasing emotionally unavailable people because you've already decided that you're worthy of consistency and peace. That is delusion. Okay, it's reprogramming your self-worth. Right? Moving on to finances. You start acting like you're the most financially responsible person ever. Before money comes, before the racks hit, before you make 100,000, 200,000, touch your first 7 figures, right? You learn how to budget, how to save, how to invest, how to visualize yourself being debt free, right? How to make decisions that are going to be in your best financial interest. You're making decisions for and from the future you, not your current reality. It doesn't matter what your credit score says today. That's not how you're moving. It doesn't matter what your bank account says today. That's not how you're moving, right? You are making decisions from an abundant mindset, not from lack. That is delusion. Okay, this is how you would shift your financial reality and personal growth, right? You start moving like you are the most disciplined person on earth. Remember, these are just all examples, but I feel like I'm touching on every single area of a person's life: finances, relationships, business, career, and personal growth. But like I said, you start moving like you're the most disciplined person you know, even if your life is a mess, even if you're still fighting old habits. You're telling yourself, hey, I'm disciplined, I'm locked in, I'm this, I'm that. Because the only way you're going to become something is if you first identify as that. That is the only way. I'm sorry to tell you, but you can't just think that you're going to fall into being a super disciplined person. You can't just only think that you are going to just fall into being a financially stable person. No, you have to make it up in your mind. And then you have to program your mind consistently every single day. Like, I'm already that. My bank account and everything else just has to catch up, right? I'm already a wife. My husband just has to find me on the streets, okay? I'm already wealthy and own dozens of acres of land. The check just hasn't cleared yet, and they haven't cleared the land for me yet. But I already have it, though. If that's what you want, that's what you want. And that's exactly why you cannot live your life being too realistic, because being realistic is honestly holding a lot of y'all back. Some of y'all are too realistic for your own good. I know that growing up, you may have heard like, oh, you need to be more realistic. Get real, okay? You talk yourself out of blessings by overanalyzing everything and being too realistic. When people are asking you questions about your goals, or you're just having regular conversations about your goals, you say things like, well, I want to be realistic and I want to be fair and I just want to look at things from an honest, realistic perspective. Like, no, you are being fearful with your words. You're being fearful with the language that you're using. That's why you have to be careful about what you say, right? Being delusional is not about being irresponsible, but it's about refusing to settle for what you can see when you know there's more meant for you. Being productively delusional just means like, hey, even though this is what's in front of me, right? As long as I can picture something bigger in my head, soon enough, I'll be able to hold it in my hand. It doesn't work the opposite way. You don't hold something in your hand first and then think about it in your head, because if you start holding something in your hand before you've embedded that into your head, you might be holding it and be like, wow, I don't know, is this really the real thing? It might be fake. I don't know if this is real. You're going to question it. But if you can hold space for something in your head and really train your brain to believe, this is who I am, this is who I'm on the way to be, this is what I'm going to have, when you get it, it will all line up. It'll all make sense, right? And realism sounds smart. Like, yeah, okay, you think you're oh so realistic, you're better than everybody because you focus on reality. And I'm a realist and I look at what's in front of me. All right. But sometimes it's really just disguised as doubt. And doubt is a cousin to fear, right? And you're really just scary for real. That's where faith comes in, y'all. Like, God honors faith, not fear. If you can believe without seeing, he will meet you in that belief. Having faith the size of a mustard seed, do y'all know how small a mustard seed is? And you have belief in this little bitty tiny little thing, and he will meet you there. Okay, think about every story in the Bible. And if you're not familiar with the Bible, that's okay, but everybody in the Bible who was blessed had to move and do what God was telling them to do before they saw results. Noah built the ark before the rain even came. Abraham left home before the promise. God told him, I need you to leave your homeland. Leave everything behind. Go here. Boom. David declared victory before the battle. You guys, you have to already know and act like, yeah, I'm that. I already have that. That is already mine. It's already done for me. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. God doesn't need you to have proof. He just needs you to have faith. He just needs you to believe. And this is why I wanted to make this episode, because I feel like a lot of people don't think that they have to live their life like that. But what I'm learning is from the people who I study and the people who I look up to, right? As a very ambitious woman who's going after any and everything she possibly can get her hands on, because I'm just like that. And that's who I aspire to be. I have to be delusional. I have to know, like, hey, if I want to build a multi-million-dollar company, this is how I have to think. This is how I have to step. You know, I have to act like it's already done, because if not, I'm going to let all the realistic warriors, and all the realistic things that are taking place in my life right now, and everything that's in my environment that's realistic and everything that's going on, I'm going to let that overshadow where I'm trying to go. And I can't have that. You can't have that if you're trying to go somewhere great, if you're trying to go somewhere and have things that you've never had before. It's not about just success in business. Like I said, it's your finances, it is your relationships, it's your career, it's your personal discipline, your fitness, right? Overcoming a disease. You just have to know and move and act like it's already done for you. It's already done. It's already done. That's my favorite thing to say, like, it's already done. When I'm talking about things that I want, whether it's a new car, it's a new career, it's a business that I'm thinking of, and whatever it is, I don't care what it is, it's already done. If it's meant for me and I can see it in my head, it's already done for me. Even if it doesn't show up in that way, I know that it's going to show up in some type of way, and it's always going to be in a better way than I can even imagine anyway. So let's get into my favorite part of the episode, where I give you guys practical tips and solutions that you can start applying today, right after you finish watching this episode. Let's talk about how to practice productive and healthy delusion daily. Okay, here are some practical and easy steps that you can take to make productive delusion a part of your daily lifestyle. Number one. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into the conversation. This episode is actually sponsored by my brand, Mindful Vibes 365. If you or anyone you know are currently experiencing feelings of frustration, anxiety, depression, overstimulation, mental burnout, and just overall disconnection from God, I can guarantee you that it's time for you to reprogram your mind and vibe. And the quickest, most easiest way for you to do this is actually by fasting and detoxing from secular music. Now, as someone that did this for an entire year, I can honestly say it changed my life completely. I underwent a transformation in all areas of my life once I cut out secular music. Now, do you have to do this for an entire year? No, the transformation started weeks into my year-long fast, which is exactly why 90 days is the sweet spot. So, luckily for you guys, I created a 90-day guided workbook that's actually going to help you successfully overcome your anxiety, depression, overstimulation, mental burnout, and disconnection from God, because it's going to require you to complete a series of activities that are going to stimulate your mind and vibe every single day. This workbook is not only going to allow you to journal what's on your mind and what's your vibe for the next 90 days, it's going to help you stay on track with consuming the required productive and stimulating things that you're going to be listening to every single day. You're going to have access to recommended hand-picked sermons, audiobooks, podcasts, personal development teachings, Bible readings, gospel songs, and so much more, which are all the things that you're going to be required to listen to for the next 90 days, every single day around the clock. I can honestly go ahead and congratulate you in advance on the new person you're getting ready to become once completing this workbook, because replacing secular music with more spiritual, stimulating, productive, motivating, and uplifting tunes is going to completely change your life. So make sure you go ahead and click the link below to get a copy of your 90-day guided workbook today. I cannot wait to hear more about your transformation and the new person that you become once you complete this 90-day workbook. So congratulations again in advance. Make sure you get a copy of yours today. Click the link below. Now let's get back to the conversation. I want you to create a new identity, okay? Don't say, I want to be confident. Say, I am a confident person. Start walking, talking, dressing, and thinking like the version of who you want to be now. What do you have to wait for? You don't have to wait for anything. Act like you own that now, okay? Like, you don't have to wait. Start acting as if you are already that person. And this brings me into number 2. I want you to get in the habit of visualizing every single day, okay? I want you to close your eyes for at least 5 to 10 minutes. And I want you to just visualize the person who already has everything that you could possibly want, right? That relationship, that family, that house, that business, successful business, right? Maybe you're that doctor, whatever the case may be. I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. I want it to live in your mind. I want it to be so crystal clear in your mind that sometimes you find yourself thinking about it so deeply to the point where maybe you're just daydreaming or you're dreaming about it and you wake up or snap out of it and you like, damn, that felt like really real. I thought that was my real life for a second. That's how deep I need you to start visualizing. I do this every single day. When I just put my phone down and be quiet and I'm just sitting thinking, I'm visualizing. I'm visualizing, I'm visualizing, I'm visualizing because I need to see it. I need to feel it. Period, point blank. Your subconscious mind is going to begin rearranging your actions to match that vision. And that's exactly what you want, okay? So number 3, you need to speak it before you see it. I don't care how crazy it sounds. I don't care if you have $1 in your bank account. If you go around telling people that you are a millionaire and you tell yourself in the mirror every single day that you're a millionaire, guess what you're going to be? A millionaire pretty soon. All right. Your words are your most powerful tool. And a lot of people don't realize that is power in the tongue. So don't go around saying stuff that you don't want to come to fruition, because it absolutely will. Talk about your future like it's already happening. Like I said, talk about things like they are already done for you. I'm already that successful lawyer. I'm already that successful doctor. I'm already that successful business owner. I'm already that loving wife, that loving mother. Okay, that super healthy person who is fit, who is disease free, who has activity in my limbs, air in my lungs. I'm already that. Doesn't matter if you're not that. That's who you are, because that's who you said you are. Period, point blank. Stop saying one day and hopefully and in the future. No, start saying like, I'm already living like that. Every single day that I live and breathe, I'm working towards that because I'm already that. I'm literally finna knock on the door to it. Okay, you don't know how quickly God will make things happen for you. You don't know how quickly God will bless you with something. You don't know how quickly he will align things. If you are already walking like that and acting like that, you just don't know. All right. Number 4, I want you to detach from external validation. And this is a big one, because when you act like this and you are a productively delusional person, people might call you a little crazy, okay? People who know you and they're like, girl, you drive a Honda. What do you mean you're in a Mercedes? Like, duh, we know that. I don't need you to remind me of what I drive. But you have to detach from this outside validation, right? Because nobody's going to be able to see the vision that you see, or no one's going to even want to see the vision that you see for your life. Like, why would they even really care? They are only going to be focused on what they can see in front of them, rightfully so, which is them, because everybody not gonna believe in a vision. But what you have to understand is that delusion means you're believing when nobody else does. You could have the most craziest idea for a business in the world and you're telling people about it and they're like, what? That sounds crazy. Who would buy that? Who would want that? Who would blah, blah, right? No one's going to buy that. That's not going to blow up. That's not going to work. Being productively delusional means taking that with a grain of salt and not paying attention to it, because if you can see it in your head, that's all that matters. You are not here to convince people. You are here to create evidence, tangible evidence of whatever I think, that's what I can achieve. That's what I can accomplish. That's what I can create. Period, point blank. And that just brings me into my last point of moving like it's already yours. You need to live like this every single day. You need to be on that every single day. You need to act like it's already done. It's already yours. You already drive the car that you want. You already live in the house that you want. You already live in the neighborhood you want. You already own the acres and the land that you want. You already have the successful business you want. You're already a doctor. You're already a lawyer winning cases. You're already a wife. You're already a mother. You're already traveling all across the world. Everything that you want, move like it's already yours. Don't wait for the confidence to post the content. Don't wait until you're super good or you're an expert to post the content. Because to me, when I see people who just like come out the gate acting as if like they're oh so perfect, some people might be drawn to that. But first of all, I don't believe anything I see on the internet, number one. But when I see people who don't show like evolution of their journey over time, I call cap. I personally think that's some bullshit, because it's like nobody saw the evolution. Nobody saw the growth. Nobody was able to see where you were 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago to where you are now. I think it's a lie. That's just me personally. So I feel like to have more glory, for your story, if you truly want to be a person that, has a following and you're an innovator and you're a creator, like you gotta show that process, and you can't be afraid. You have to step up. You can't just be perfect out the gate. 100% of the time. Like, no, if you were perfect, there would be no growth. There would be no room for growth, right? Don't wait for the approval to start the business. Don't tell people like, hey, I'm looking to start this business. Who all supports me? Like, no, do what you want to do if that's what you want to do. Don't wait for the approval. Faith is movement, okay? Having faith means that you are moving. You are putting one foot in front of the other, regardless of what anybody thinks, regardless of what the circumstances say right now. That movement is going to build momentum, and that's what's going to keep you going, y'all. You got to have healthy delusion. Life is already hard enough. There are so many different things going on in our world right now where a lot of people are just looking at what's in front of them. What do I see? What do I keep hearing about? Oh, and the president and this and the economy. And I'm not disputing the fact that things are jacked up, of course. But it's like, how much of that are you going to let run your life? Especially when you want the things that you want. If you just want to live a regular mediocre life, then of course these things are going to affect you so much to the point where you're not even going to be able to think or breathe, because yeah. But for the people who don't want to live a regular life, the people who want more, the people who want to say, hey, I get to decide what my reality and what my world looks like for myself, my community, my friends, my family. I'm not going to let that outside stuff affect what I have going on. And that's so important, y'all. Like, you have to get to a point where you're like, I don't care what else is happening around me. I know what's going on my end, and I'm going to make sure, like, hey, this is what I want my life to look like. Despite what else is going on, with him, her, over there, him, all them, right? It doesn't matter. You get to determine your reality. And sometimes that comes with being delusional. Like I said, you're not being recklessly delusional, but being productively delusional is going to help you sometimes, because sometimes that's just the push that you need to keep going. That is just the strength that you need to keep putting one foot in front of the other, especially when the nights are long, especially when things are boring, especially when you're missing out on stuff, especially when it feels like you're spending all your money, you're not really making no money. Like, being delusional is going to save you. Being delusional and having that type of posture is going to save you. That's going to keep you going. So that's why I wanted to even talk about this, because I want you guys to understand that sometimes being delusional is the best possible thing that you can do for yourself, okay? Here's my challenge to you guys this week. Ask yourself, where do I need to be delusional again? Like, where have I just been leaning a little bit too far into reality lately? I need to get back to my delusional side, because why wouldn't everything work out for me? Duh. Where have I let reality make me play small? Ask yourself, where have you stopped believing because things didn't happen fast enough? Just because things didn't start moving around how you wanted to, and that didn't fall through, and this didn't work out, you just gave up. You gave up the belief, right? No, get back in your delusional bag. Start speaking life into your dreams. Start walking like you already have what you've been praying for, right? And remember, being delusional is not about escaping reality. Don't just walk around here ignoring the real problems that you got and things that you need to take care of. No, it's about creating a new reality through faith, belief, and aligned action. You can't leave that part out. Don't just be delusional, and don't just have faith and think that you're going to get the things that you want without having work and action to back it up. That's not how it works, okay? And to leave y'all with something else, just know that realistic people rarely change the world, okay? It's the delusional people who are the movers and the shakers, the creators and the innovators. Realistic people are the consumers. The people who just sit back, watch everything, complain about everything, spend their money, right? They don't create nothing. They're not a mover nor a shaker. Delusional people are the ones who create, are the ones who build things that nobody would have ever thought to build, right? That's who you want to be. Decide which side of the fence you want to be on. Me personally, I'd rather be on the delusional side instead of being on the realistic side, because there's too many things to go after in this world. There's too many possibilities to explore than to just sit around being realistic. Like, no, get in the field. Okay. So if you stayed to the very end of this episode and enjoyed this conversation, thank you guys so much. We are growing every single day. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know what your favorite part of this episode was. I really hope that y'all are able to take something from this episode and apply it to your life today so that you can actually start being more delusional, because sometimes being delusional is the best thing for you to do. That might be the answer to your problems right now, right? You might be in a space where you don't know how you're going to move forward, or you're facing different things, or there's different things that you want to do. Start being delusional. That is my answer to you. All right. Start being delusional, because like I said, delusional people change the world, not realistic people. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this with somebody who might need to start being a little bit more delusional, or watch this again in case you missed something, guys. And I look forward to seeing y'all on the very next episode. Bye.